What's up YouTube, this is Galaxy Tech Dark Lord here, coming with the updated Infernity deck profile for July. I just entered this in a tournament the other day, it came top 10. It consists of the Infernity Xyz build that I used before, previous tournament that I went to, and since I finally pulled a Lavalval chain in a Hidden Arsenal packet, I managed to get it together. Right, I'm going to go straight into it. I have one Armageddon Knight. He gets a monster into the graveyard. He's essential. One Dark Grepher, the same thing. He also jumps monsters out of your hand, which is equally useful. One Summoner Monk. He can get the spell cards out of your hand that you might not need at the time. Gets a monster on the field for an instant summon of Lavalval Chain or Papillorative. Two Stygian Street Patrol. Everyone says you need one, but you don't, you need two. You will find that it is amazingly useful to have two. It's the bare minimum that you can use, really. Right. 3 Infernity Archfiend. That is the heart of the deck. You don't have it, you don't have a proper Infernity deck. I'm not trying to sound any, offensive or anything for anyone who's got 2. One Infernity Avenger, really useful just in case you in case your opponent destroys all your monsters. He basically stalls them a bit more. One Infernity Mirage. I'd run 2, but he can't be special summoned from the graveyard, so he's not much use once he's gone, and he's got 0 attack and defense. So he's wide open, and he's not useful if there aren't enough Infernity monsters in the graveyard. And 3 Infernity Necromancers to finish off that. You know what? Everyone knows why Necromancer is essential. Revives an Infernity monster when there's no cards in my hand. An Infernity Archfiend equally is useful because when there are no cards in your hand and you draw it, he's instant. You can special summon it to the field. Whenever he's special summoned with no cards in your hand, you get to search out another Infernity card. Right, that's 13 monsters. On to the spells. 1 OVS, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Infernity Launcher, Monster Reborn. Those are the staple cards, as well as 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. Right, 1 Foolish Burial. Get either Stygian Street Patrol or Infernity Archfiend into your graveyard, or even Infernity Avenger. 1 for 1, get a monster out your hand, summon out Infernity Avenger from your deck, or Infernity Mirage, because it's only from the graveyard that you can't special summon it. Rota. That gets the Armageddon Knight or the Dark Grepher into your hand. And finally, 2-0 Max. Now you can run Instant Fusion. It's not. You don't have to. I don't run it because I have no fusion monsters that are level 4 or level 3, which are generally what you need because this deck shouldn't have anything over level 5. Well, anything level 4 or over that's over level 4. Now, just before I go on to the traps, you really shouldn't run Pot of Dualty. I've seen so many videos where people run Pot of Dualty, and it's not. You shouldn't run it because if you do, you're going to block your special summon for that turn, and the same goes for Trap Stun. The Infernity deck. This Infernity deck uses more traps than monsters and spells. So using Trap Stun essentially will stun you out for 1 turn. Right. But anyway, traps. And also you don't want to use Pot of Dualty in a swarm deck. Right, traps then. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. 2 Dimensional Prison. 2 Fiendish Chain. You can use 2 Breakthrough skill, but I find it more useful to use these Fiendish Chain because it stops your monsters from attacking, negates their effects, and they can't. Yeah. I mean, there's no secondary effect from the graveyard, but quite frankly, I don't think you need it. It's better to stop their attack. 3 Infernity Barrier. You can't run 2. It's if you run 2, you'll find after using all of them you need another. 2 Infernity Break, you only need 2. There's only so many Infernity cards that you can remove from your graveyard to destroy other cards. 1 Infernity Inferno, just in case you reach that point where there's at least 1 card in your hand and you need to get rid of it because your back row is completely full. That's what happened to me in the last tournament. That's the one of the duels I lost. Mirror Force, we all know why, it gets rid of every card. Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning to finish off. Right, extra deck. I run Digesto Emerald, Evil Swarm Thanatos, Gemnite Pearl, the Valval Chain, that he's the most useful Xyz monster that you can have in this deck. Gemnite Pearl is just a very nice beater. Evil Swarm Thanatos can escape your opponent's monster's effects, and Digesto Emerald just because I pulled it in a packet and it's rare. 2 Leviair. You need this card in the deck. It's one of the second essential cards. The third essential card I don't have, which is Diamond Dire Wolf. That clears out your field and possibly your opponent's field as well, just in case you block yourself with monsters. Right, 1 Shockmaster. You only need 1. It is amazing once you get it off the line. Generally when you detach 1 Xyz material monster from it, you declare either spell, trap or monster, and that can't be activated until your next turn. You should generally declare spell, because the traps you generally have covered, and the spell, if they activate, shrink or something. Utopia, protect your monsters. Papilloperative, get your opponent's defense buster, basically. Right, this deck is a part Infernity, Synchro and Xyz builds, so Chaos King Archfiend, muddle up your opponent, Infernity Doom Dragon, Mistworm. You can summon it with this deck, just either Avenger and 2 Archfiends, or any Avenger and 2 level 4s. Stardust Dragon, protect any of your back row or anything else. Stygian Street Patrol. You will find this amazingly useful when you have one Avenger and 1 Archfiend on the field. A lot of people don't know what it does. You attack one. When he attacks a monster and destroys it, he can gain 800 attack and attack again. So that's 2200. And then it will go to 3000. And lastly, Void Ogre Dragon, the god of Infernity Synchro builds. You need that. Protect your back row. Right, finally, the side deck. A lot of trouble putting this together. I'd spent more time putting this together than the actual deck itself. But here's the run through. Spare Dark Grepher and spare Summoner Monk. You never know. I never sided these 2 in. Well, I didn't side these 2 in during the last tournament I was in. I didn't need to. Monster Reincarnation, just in case you need a card back from the graveyard for a card in your hand. 1 Breakthrough Skill. I only have 1, unfortunately. Just in case I want to side out a chain, a Fiendish Chain. Dark Light. You tribute dark monster with 1500 or more attack, and get rid of every special summon monster that turn that your opponent controls. Right, thinking of E-Dragons here, I have thought 2 Imperial Iron Walls and 1 Dragon Capture Jar. We all know why that is. Right. Escape from the Dark Dimension. You have no idea how useful it can be when your opponent, when you've banished some monsters that you need back with Infernity Break or something. Light Imprisoning Mirror. I came up against Light Rays and Lightspawn, a Light Ray Lightspawn deck in that tournament. I had no problem when I used this it would be more advisable to use more than one, but I only needed one because I took out his Heavy Storm with Infernity Barrier. Mind Memory Loss, it just negates your opponent's monster effects and saves you from using a Infernity Barrier, which you could use later. So, Starlight Row, protect your back row, and special summon a Stardust Dragon because you have one. And finally, Non-Aggression Area. It's almost unheard of, and it's not surprising because it's one of the oldest cards there is from the Dark Revelation 1. And that means that people don't know what it does. It basically, you can only ever activate it during your standby phase by discarding one card, and then your opponent cannot normal summon or special summon or set during his or her next turn. That's during your standby phase. So yeah, so that basically takes their turn away. Right, I hope you guys enjoyed that deck. If there are any questions about it, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Thank you for watching.